welcome. I'm Lindsay from Mystic Haven Acres, and this is my podcast, Living for Real. Thanks for joining me. I'm here to share my experiences as someone who never quite fit in and shed some light on life's simple and not so simple things. A single mama, born and raised in the GTA, now living a peaceful, rural, homesteading life with my kids and critters, and I can't wait to share with you some of the magic I have learned along the way. I pride myself in real living, real food, real conversations, and real experiences. So leave your preconceived notions at the door and buckle up. This free spirit is about to take you for an interesting ride. Hey, welcome to episode number 1. Wow, I'm really doing this. Okay, let's just dive right in. So maybe I'll start with a little bit about myself. I was born and raised north of Toronto in the suburbs of Vaughan. We were in what was then a smallish town, and as I grew up, I watched the city kind of trample in and over my hometown. And I recognized that I didn't like it. I didn't like what was happening. I didn't like to see the farmland disappearing. I didn't like the development and the modernization of the town. The town where I grew up was a very quaint town. It had a lot of character. There were a lot of neat little shops, and it was very touristy. But as the years went by, of course, more and more subdivisions were built, more and more people moved into the town, and more farmland disappeared, more and more wildlife got displaced, and more of those quaint little shops and that really nice small town feel disappeared. And that was kind of crummy. So anyways, that little taste of rural life from the surrounding area that I got living there really stuck with me. And I've also had a love of horses from a very young age. And I mean like before I could talk, really young age. And I guess that has always tied in a little bit, that dream of having a farm and having horses. And so that was always kind of in the back of my mind. That said, I've always also loved seeing wildlife. I remember seeing all sorts of critters at our house and on the surrounding land as a child. And even though I'm now surrounded by even more wildlife and we see so much more of it here, it never gets old for me. I mean, I still get excited every time I see a deer, and I have seen hundreds of wild deer in my lifetime, and it probably shouldn't be as exciting as it is, but it still warms my heart every single time. And so when people ask me what made me desire this life, this rural life, I guess that's a big part of it. The horses, of course, always played a big role, but I do really enjoy wildlife and just the natural state of things. I've never really enjoyed that takeover by urbanness, the buildings, the concrete, busy, the destruction of nature. And so I've always had that pull to stay away from it and immerse myself in nature as much as I possibly can. And so here I am. Now I'm a single mom with 3 kids, and we've got a large acreage, and we raise all sorts of animals on the farm. We've got cows and goats and chickens and ducks and horses, of course, and cats and dogs. And as of recently, we even got some bunnies. And these are just things that make me happy. They bring joy to my life. I like to think of myself as a simple person. I mean, there are aspects of me, like most people, I think, that are not simple at all. But generally speaking, I like to think of myself as someone that is kept content easily. I really pride myself in finding joy in simple things. I really pride myself in trying to live a simple, non-materialistic life. I just think there's so much more to life than flashy, showy things. And so to kind of take you into what that looks like a little bit, I went out to do chores this morning and there was frost. Everything was frosted. It had gotten quite cold overnight, and being that it hadn't been that cold, it was a bit humid. And so as the temperature dropped overnight, everything got this frosty blanket. And as the sun came up, the whole world just sparkled. And it was beautiful. And so my goal with all of this is to help others like you find those simple things in life, and not only find them, but actually see them. Like, actually notice. Because it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in the city or in the middle of nowhere or in suburbia. There are so many little things in every single day that are just so beautiful, if you can just slow yourself enough to notice them. And so, like I said, my goal is just to help people slow down enough to notice those things. And that can take some time and some practice. It's not always easy, especially in the beginning. It can be hard. But once you start, it does become easier. And you start to notice a whole lot more. And I just think little stuff like this that lifts our mood every day is priceless, and it's really accessible for anyone if you're open to it. And it doesn't take much. I mean, little things, little tiny things. I remember commuting to work years ago, and I kept seeing snowy owls. And so I would watch every day. It became like a thing. I would watch for snowy owls on my drive to and from work, and I would get so excited when I would see them. Some days I would see up to 3 or 4 snowy owls in just one trip, which was so exciting for me. I thought it was really neat. And though I haven't seen any snowy owls for a couple of years now, I still remember those sightings and that experience. And so often I was late getting to where I was going, whether it was getting to the office or getting to school or daycare to pick my kids up. I was rushing. So I tried more and more to keep myself present and aware so that I was able to notice these things. But like everyone else, I'm not perfect. And there were definitely days, and especially at that time, there were lots of days where I was just rushing around on a mission to get all the things done. And I know in hindsight that I missed out on a lot. It's so easy to do. It's so easy to do either way. I regret not being more aware and seeing more things. But I know that moving forward, I can do that now. And with depression and anxiety and other mental health things that are at an all-time high right now, I do believe that simple practices like this can help. And I'm not saying that looking for owls is going to cure you of your mental pains, because let's be honest, it won't. However, the shift in your perspective will definitely help. And it doesn't take much to incorporate these small things into your life, which may just raise your mood enough to make the day that much easier. On the flip side, these little things could improve your mood immensely if you let them, which takes me back to this morning as I was doing chores in the cold. And like I said earlier, it was so beautiful. The sun was so nice. It was lighting everything up. It was making everything glitter. And it was so warm on my face. And I don't know, I love sparkles. I love sparkly things. As much as I am like this homesteading rural, like knee deep in mud girl, I love sparkles. So I think that's one of my favorite things about winter is the snow and the ice and the sparkles. So anyways, as I'm freezing my butt off doing chores, I was thinking to myself, if I didn't have these animals to take care of, if they weren't depending on me right now, I wouldn't be outside. I would be thinking to myself, oh, it's so cold. I'm not going outside. And then I would have missed all that beauty. And like, I can't think of a more beautiful way to start my day than going outside and experiencing that simple beauty that Mother Nature offered this morning. I would have missed it. And it's funny because people will often say to me, isn't it a lot of work to have all those animals? And for sure, some days it is, it's a lifestyle. It's a commitment for sure. And it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But it's something that I'm really grateful for. And despite all the not so great things that can sometimes happen and do happen, I still love it. I still love it. And it still brings me so much joy. It brings me so much more joy than negativity or upset. And so for me, it's totally worth it. I'm going to wrap this up for now, but I hope you got something out of my very first episode. And thank you for bearing with me as I navigate through this. I can't wait to dive in deeper on some topics in upcoming episodes, and I plan to host some interesting guests in the future as well. And what I want to leave you with today is just that I encourage you to take some time to notice something today. I promise you there is beauty in every single day if you slow down enough to notice. Thanks so much for listening in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review and share with your friends and family. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss upcoming episodes. And thanks again. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.